Moving on to round 3. Shogun versus the Executioner. Good luck, everybody. Here we go. Alrighty, the Executioners were able to gang up on the Shogun. Reaper versus the King. The King's got a lot of health. I don't know if he can simply be speared with a tentacle, or if it can only spear things with tentacles that it can destroy with a certain amount of damage. We'll see what happens here. Wow, the King beat Death. It was a close one. Casualties on both sides. Blunderbuss versus Painter. Blunderbuss wants to be back. Painter, they want to be as far forward as they can be. Maybe a little spread out. I'm not quite sure how wide the angle of the blunderbuss is. Here we go. They went right for his face. There's a kitten on the table. Hi, kitten. Yeah. I don't know what you're looking for on the table. Possibly the food that I'm eating, but that's my food. It's not cat food. I don't think you'd even like it. Brawler versus Raptor. That's going to be interesting. Brawler's pretty tanky. Raptor's pretty fast. We'll see which reigns supreme. Here we go. The Brawlers win. Chu-Ko-Nu versus Berserker. The age-old rivalry. Chu-Ko-Nu's probably going to want to be far back as they can go. The Berserkers want to be as far forward as they can be. We'll see if any of them can make it past the bolts. The answer is all of them made it past the bolts. Berserkers beat Chu-Ko-Nus. Clams versus Ballista. There we go. Yeah. Clams beat Ballistas handily. Skeleton Archer versus Sarissa. This may be the comeuppance for the Sarissa. Okay, here we go. Skeleton Archers beat Sarissas. Pirate Queen versus Jouster. This is gonna be a mess. There's gonna be bombs all over the battlefield. 5 Jousters versus 2 Pirate Queens. Oh, this is what? They just, ran right into her and jousted her into submission. Jousters beats Pirate Queen. That was a bit of a surprise. Stoner versus Ice Giant. We'll have one protecting the other one. That way, maybe the second one survives long enough to kill all the Stoners. Though maybe the first one will just do that on its own. We'll see. That was it. A right hook. The ice giants got caught on each other. They accidentally hit each other a bunch, and they got hit by so many rocks, but they still survived to take out all the stoners. Hay baler versus archer. Okay. That's going to be hard on those archers, because they're going to be shooting a lot of hay. Dragon versus flintlock. It's kind of hard to determine what the dragon's most advantageous position is. Okay, well, with their various weapons discarded, it came down to a slugfest, and the flintlocks slugged it out better, so they won. Wheelbarrow dragon versus farmer. I think they're going to want to be just randomly placed. Worked well for them last time, didn't it? Okay, here goes. Yeah, no, the farmers are just too strong. They were like in the final four. Mungo Jerry's out of the competition. The wheelbarrow and the wheelbarrow dragon have fallen. Cavalry versus vampire. So there's going to be 9 vampires. They're going to charge for the cavalry, but the cavalry may not be there when they arrive. Let's see. The vampires did not survive the cavalry. Cavalry beats vampires. It's an arch-off between the balloon archers and the firework archers. Who is best archer? This is probably not the best way to determine who is best archer. See what happens. Okay, balloon archers beat firework archers. Minotaur versus tree giant. Well, the battle of the titans. Kind of. The battle of 2 of the titans. Alrighty. Charging versus clubs. Giant clubs. Who wins? The Minotaurs are pretty tanky, but once those tree giants managed to start hitting them with trees, it didn't last very long. Tree giants beat Minotaurs. Da Vinci tank versus halberd. It's an all-Renaissance showdown. 1 tank versus 10 halberds. Alrighty, here we go. Those halberds come down. They hit the tank enough to do enough damage to kill it. There weren't a lot of halberds left, but they managed to beat the tank. Alrighty. Next, we're on to round 4. 16 units remaining in the tournament. And the first duel is the Executioner versus the King. Betrayal. There we go. Let's see who wins. Much damage as those executioners do. They were too slow, and they missed too much. They only lost 2 kings, with 5 kings left at the end. The king beats the executioner. Presumably that's why he's king. Painter versus brawler. We're going to fund the ball of painters here. There we go. Brawlers versus painters. Let's see how it goes. Brawlers beat painters. Shields were just too effective. Okay, berserkers versus clams. Berserkers are turn 50, so we'll have 2 berserkers. They're going to want to be as far forward as possible, and the clam guy is going to be as far back as possible. It's probably not going to work. Here we go. Yep, berserkers beat clams. Berserkers didn't even bother with the clams themselves. They just jumped past to the clam thrower. And that was his undoing. Skeleton archer versus jouster. There we go. 7,000 points versus 7,000 points. Let's see who wins. Jousters were fast enough to run down the skeleton archers before they could fire enough times to burn up all their horses. Jousters beat skeleton archers. Ice giant versus archer. 42,000 points worth of archers. I'm going to have a hard time getting this many archers on the screen. I don't think their formation really would change anything at all. 42,000 points worth of archers. Let's see if we can do the frame rate. Too many arrows. The archers took out the ice giants. Flintlock versus farmer. Where? Hello? Hello? I think I'm going to just reload the map. Okay, now we know where we are. There we go. That was really close. Farmers were having a lot of trouble using their pitchforks at close range, but eventually they did defeat the Flintlocks. Cavalry versus balloon archer. Here we go. Cavalry beats balloon archers. It was closer than I thought. Those balloon archers gave him a good run for his money. They kept him off the ground for the first half of the battle, but after that, it took them out. Tree giant versus halberd. Well, if anyone could get a shot off on a tree giant, it might be a halberd. There he is. Okay. Alrighty, Tree Giant, the previous victor, moving ahead. Okay, so I've been asked to predict who I think will win the tournament. We've got 8 units left. We've got King, Brawlers, Berserkers, Jousters, Archers, Farmers, Cavalry, and the Tree Giant. Wow, I think things are looking good for the Tree Giant. If the Tree Giant was up against the Archers, he might have had some trouble. But he's up against the Cavalry. Still a pretty strong unit. So I don't know between Cavalry and Tree Giant. Up here we've got the Jousters, Berserkers. I think the Berserkers are going to take the Jousters out. I'm not sure between the King and Brawlers. So let's say I think the King is going to beat the Brawlers. The Berserkers are going to beat the Jousters. Farmers are going to beat the Archers. And the Tree Giant, yes. And then the Tree Giant will beat the Farmer. I think the Berserkers will beat the King. So I think it's going to be Tree Giants versus Berserkers in the final round. Wow, that's going to be a really hard... I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Tree Giant because Tree Giant won before, but I can see the Berserkers taking out the Tree Giant. Well, here we go. Round 5, King versus Brawlers. There we go. 34,500 points worth of Brawlers and Kings. King took out the Brawlers. Alrighty, what's next? Berserkers versus Jousters. Let's see what happens. Very fancy footwork on the part of the jouster, and some very fast running. Kept his horse safe, and him on his mount. As long as he was on his mount, he was in charge of the battle. So the jouster beat the Berserkers. I was not expecting that. Archer versus Farmer. 1 Archer versus 2 Farmers. He's going to stand back as far as he possibly can, and the Farmers are going to rush him as fast as they possibly can. I think if he'd have missed either of those shots, the Archer would have lost. But he got them both. Archers beat Farmers. That means they're going to be up against the winner of this next battle, Cavalry versus Tree Giant. Yeah, it could be. I was thinking what would happen if it was an all-horse final battle. Once I realized they were both still in it. Okay, here we go. He's doing his best to use the Tree Giants as cover from the other Tree Giants, but eventually one got around behind him. I wanted to see a horse go flying in the air, but if it happened, I missed it. Still, there we go. Tree Giants beat Cavalry. Okay, we're into the semi-finals here. The King versus Jousters. They might just run circles around the Kings, but they're going to have to do a lot of damage to the Kings before they actually kill them. Okay, Jousters versus Kings, semi-final match. Here we go. Kings took out the Jousters. No horses left in the tournament. All of a sudden. Archer versus Tree Giant. 28,000 credits worth of archers. There we go. Tree Giants versus archers. Archers beat Tree Giants. The winner of the last tournament has been taken out by a unit that didn't make it to the finals in the last tournament. Alrighty. So the final is Archers versus the King. 2 units that didn't make it to the finals last time. Okay. Just shows you how luck does things. And that's why, in fact, we're going to do a losers tournament. Not tonight, we don't have time tonight, but the next tab stream we will do a losers tournament, and the winner of the losers tournament will fight the winner of this battle. But for now, the winner of this battle is the victor of the tournament. Okay. The King, we're going to need 7 kings. And that many archers. I think the reason they're doing well in the random formation actually is because they're fighting units considerably taller than them. Now the King is taller than them, but I think they still want to go into a square if possible. And it looks like it's possible. One more. Actually, a couple more. Put one more in front. One in front over here. Even one more. There we go. Okay. It's the final battle. Kings versus archers. In the end, the King just could not hold up under that hail of arrows. The archer wins the tournament!
Warning, warning, this video is almost over. Warning, warning, it's time to choose another one. This has gone on far too long, time to wake up and sing along. Warning, warning, this video is over now.